Shalom. 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 Peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High. Welcome back, Kingdom Builders. Welcome back, Road Trippers. Akeem and Akatim. My brothers and my sisters, mothers, fathers, aunties, and uncles, grandmas, and grandpas. Everybody in the house. In-laws. Peace and blessings to you, right? Peace and blessings to your homes, your dwelling places, where you stay at. Your loved ones, your friends. Your children. Little children babies, right? Them loved ones, man. And your pets, of course. We love our pets. Absolutely. All praises to the Most High Yahweh. Glory to Yahweh Shai. Honors to the Ruach. My love and my respect goes out to each and every single one of you. Okay? It's good to be back in the house again, right? This is a house of its own. And I'm just very appreciative for every single one of you who have come here and shown love and appreciation and also helped to edify the nation, you know? We are one family, you know? I don't think that the merging of the two sticks into one stick happens just at the snap of a finger. I believe that we are living and witnessing these times happening right in front of us, right? Of course. We are becoming one stick. We are one family, one nation. That's why you always hear me say one love, one nation, because that's how you gotta feel that. You gotta feel it. It's happening all around you, Mishpachah, family and friends and cleavers and friends of the family. That's correct. So, where we at? We're back here in the works of Flavius Josephus, the Antiquities of the Yahudim, because we're not saying the other ish Antiquities. Chapter 8. This is the finale of book number 4. And I did a little pre-scan before I got started here. And ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a long haul. It's going to be a long one. But this is the last chapter of the book, and for some reason they didn't want to break it down to help Enoch out, man. They didn't want to help out Enoch. So I'm going to have to read this. There's going to be multiple pages. This chapter 8 concerning the government settled by Moshe and how he disappeared from among mankind. Remember? He liked to live a life of solitude, quietness. He didn't like all that noise. So even within the Kodesh, he wanted to be Kodesh, set apart from the set apart. And it's like that sometimes, you know? So we're going to read this. And just to give you a heads up, so most of the chapters that we read might land between, 5 to maybe 12 sections. Well, this one has 49 sections in it. And then after that, to finish up the book, because on the last finish up, the finale of book 3, they didn't have any notes, right? So I guess they doubled down on this one over here. They gave us 49 sections to read, and there's, as far as the points, the note points, they gave us 22 of those to read. So I'm guaranteeing you right now, this is already going to be a multiple hour read here. So if you don't have the time, just pick it up and put it down. This is the road trip. We'll be here. But this is going to be the last one for this evening. I love y'all, though. All right? If you have these scrolls, read along. Chapter 8. All right? No further ado, ladies and gentlemen. Let us begin on the finale. I love you. Yes.
Take them back.
Section number 1, and it reads, When 40 years were completed within 30 days, Moshe gathered the congregation together near Jordan, where the city Abila, Abel, now stands, a place full of palm trees, and all the people being come together, he spoke thus to them. That's the end of section 1. Section 2. Oh, you Israelites, you Yahudim, right? Yasharala, and fellow soldiers who have been partners with me in this long and uneasy journey, since it is now the will of the Most High, and the course of old age at 120 requires it that I should depart out of this life. And since the Most High Yahweh has forbidden me to be a patron, Salake, or an assistant to you in what remains to be done beyond Jordan, I thought it reasonable not to leave off my endeavors even now for your happiness, but to do my utmost to procure for you the eternal enjoyment of good things, and a memorial for myself when you shall be in fruition of great plenty and prosperity. Come therefore, let me suggest to you by what means you may be happy, and may leave an eternal prosperous possession thereof to your children after you, and then let me thus go out of the world. And I cannot but deserve to be believed by you, both on account of the great things I have already done for you, and because when souls are about to leave the body, they speak with the sincerest freedom. O children of Yasharel, there is but one source of happiness for all mankind, the favor of the Most High Yahweh. For he alone is able to give good things to those that deserve them, and to deprive those of them that sin against him, towards whom, if you behave yourselves according to his will, and according to what I, who well understand his mind, do exhort you to, you will both be esteemed blessed, right? And will be admired by all men, and will never come into misfortunes, nor cease to be happy. You will then preserve the possession of the good things you already have, and will quickly obtain those that you are in present in want of. Only do you be obedient to those whom the Most High would have you to follow, the righteous men. Nor do you prefer any other constitution of government before the laws now given you. Oh, so you're voting out here? Left wing, right wing? Huh? You're voting? What did this say? Nor do you prefer any other constitution of government before the laws now given you. Neither do you disregard that way of divine worship which you now have, nor change it for any other form. And if you do this, you will be the most courageous of all men, and undergoing the fatigues of war, and will not be easily conquered by any of your enemies. For while the Most High Yahweh is present with you to assist you, it is to be expected that you will be able to despise the opposition of all mankind, and great rewards of virtue are proposed for you, if you preserve that virtue through your whole lives. Virtue itself is indeed the principle in that first reward, and after that it bestows abundance of others, so that your exercise of virtue towards other men will make your own lives happy, and render you more glorious than foreigners can be, and procure you an undisputed reputation with posterity. These blessings you will be able to obtain in case you hearken to and observe those laws which by divine revelation I have ordained for you. That is, in case you nonetheless meditate upon the wisdom that is in them. I am going from you myself rejoicing in the good things you enjoy, and I recommend you to the wise conduct of your law, to the becoming order of your polity, and to the virtues of your commanders, who will take care of what is for your advantage. And that the Most High Yahweh, who has been until now your leader, and by whose goodwill I have myself been useful to you, will not put a period now to his providence over you. But as long as you desire to have him your protector in your pursuits after virtue, so long will you enjoy his care over you. Your high priest also Eleazar, as well as Joshua with his senate and chief of your tribes, will go before you and suggest the best advice for you, by following which advice you will continue to be happy. And whom do you give ear without reluctance, and sensible that all such as know well how to be governed. Right? If you know better, you'll do better. Ain't that right? Let's continue on. If you know better, you'll do better. Let's continue. Sorry, that was the Ruach. Man, my bad. To whom, I'm not apologizing. Let's continue. To whom do you give ear without reluctance, as sensible that all should, as such as know well how to be governed, will also know how to govern, if they be promoted to that authority themselves? And do not you esteem liberty to consist in opposing such directions as your governors think fit to give you for your practice, as to present, indeed, You place your liberty in nothing else but abusing your benefactors, which err, if you can avoid for the time to come, your affairs will be in a better condition than they have as yet been. Nor do you ever indulge such a degree of passion in these matters as you have oftentimes done when you have been very angry at me, for you know that I have been more often in danger of death from you than from our enemies. Right? Crabs in a pot, crabs in a barrel, man. What I now put you in mind of is not done in order to reproach you, for I do not think it proper now I am not going out of the world to bring this to your remembrance, in order to leave you offended at me, since at the time when I underwent those hardships from you, I was not angry at you. But I do it in order to make you wiser hereafter, and to teach you that this will be for your security. I mean that you never be injurious to those that preside over you, even when you are become rich, as you will be to a great degree, when you have passed over Jordan and are in the possession of the land of Canaan. I'm going to interject. See, there's nothing new under the sun. So, you righteous brothers out here who are teaching, who are doing the works of the Most High Yahweh, you sisters out here doing the righteous works of Yahweh in righteous order, and if you're getting persecuted, well, he was persecuted first. Of course it's going to happen. Moshe was persecuted too, right? Yahweh Shai was persecuted, judged. There's going to be always a ruach of opposition against you. This is what he's talking about. You got to fight through it. You know, the times that you underwent, he underwent, the hardships from you. You remember, from the people. He thought them more of an enemy than the enemies. They wanted to stone him half the time. Almost every Shabbat, somebody wanted to throw a rock at his head, man. Come on, bruv. All right. Let's continue on reading. All right. Let's get some more of this. And it reads, since when you shall have once proceeded so far by your wealth as to contempt and disregard of virtue, you will also forfeit the favor of the Most High. And when you have made him your enemy, you will be beaten in war, and will have the land which you possess taken away again from you by your enemies, and this with great reproaches upon your conduct. You will be scattered over the whole world, and will as slaves entirely fill both sea and land. And when once you have had the experience of what I now say, you will repent and remember the laws you have broken when it is too late. Thus I would advise you, if you intend to preserve these laws, to leave none of your enemies alive when you have conquered them, but to look upon it as for your advantage to destroy them all, lest, if you permit them to live, you taste of their manners, and thereby corrupt your own proper institutions. I also do further exhort you to overthrow their altars and their groves and whatever temples they have among them, and to burn all such, their nation, and their memory with fire, for by this means alone the safety of your own happy constitution can be firmly secured to you, and in order to prevent your ignorance of virtue in the degeneracy of your nature into vice, I have also ordained you laws by divine suggestion and a form of government, which are so good that if you regularly observe them, you will be esteemed of all men the most happy. That's the end of section 2. We got a long way to go. But isn't that true, though? If people just listen to what was told of them, listen to righteous order, there was always a plan. The world was made perfect by the Most High Yahweh. He made the world perfect. Not one thing wrong with the world. It's just people and wickedness that complicate everything. Let's continue reading. Section 3 coming up. Section 3, and it reads, when he had spoken thus, he gave them the laws and the constitution of government written in a book, upon which the people fell into tears and appeared already touched with the sense that they should have a great want of their leader, because they remembered what a number of dangers he had passed through, and what care he had taken for their preservation, and were downhearted by what would come upon them after he was dead, and thought they should never have another governor like him, and feared that the Most High Yahweh would then take less care of them when Moshe was gone, who used to intercede for them. Right? They also repented of what they had said to him in the wilderness when they were angry, and were in grief on those accounts, insomuch that the whole body of the people fell into tears with such bitterness that it was past the power of words to comfort them in their affliction. However, Moshe gave them some consolation, and by calling them off, he thought how worthy he was for their weeping for him. He exhorted them to keep to them that form of government he had given to them. And then the congregation was dissolved at that time. He was a man of words. He did it right. End of section 3. Okay. All praises to the Most High. Selah. I love you. I love you guys. I love y'all. All right, man. That's right. All praises to the Most High. I want to dip in again. Let's dip in. All right. Let's get section 4. All right. What does it say, Mishpachah? Well, I'm going to tell you what it says. It says, and it reads, accordingly, I shall now first describe this form of government which was agreeable to the dignity and virtue of Moshe, and shall thereby inform those that read the Antiquities, these Antiquities, what our original laws were, and shall then proceed to the remaining histories. Now those laws are all still in writing, as he left them, and we shall add nothing by the way of ornamentation, or anything besides what Moshe left us. Only we shall so far arrange as to compile the several kinds of laws into a regular system. For they were by him left in writing as they were given in order of the delivery, and as he upon inquiry had learned them of the Most High Yahweh. Right? Of the Most High. Abba. On which account I have thought it necessary to premise this observation beforehand, in case any of my own countrymen should blame me as having been guilty of any offense herein. Now, part of our, not mine, but our Constitution will include the laws that belong to our political state. As for those laws which Moshe left concerning our common relationships and interactions one with another, I have reserved that for a discourse concerning our manner of life and the occasions of those laws which I propose to myself with the Most High's assistance, to write after I have finished the work I am now upon. That's the end of 4, and that's the end of that one. Okay, let's continue on to section 5. Let's go, man. Sometimes I highlight those possessive nouns, I, me, our, because sometimes that needs to have a little bit more emphasis so you understand how it's being spoken and the emotion in it, right? Okay, let's continue on. Section 5, and it reads, when you have possessed yourselves to the land of Canaan and have leisure to enjoy the good things of it, and when you have afterward determined to build cities, if you will do what is pleasing to the Most High Yahweh, you will have a secure state of happiness. Let there be then one city of the land of Canaan, and this situated in the most agreeable place for its goodness, and very eminent in itself. And let it be that which the Most High shall choose for himself by prophetic revelation. Let there also be one temple therein, and one altar not reared of hewn stones, but of such as you gather together at random, which stones, when they are whited over with mortar, will have a handsome appearance, and be beautiful to the sight. Let the ancient to it be not by steps. Let the ascent to it be not by steps, but by a ramp of raised earth. And let there be neither an altar nor a temple in any other city, for the Most High is but one, and the nation of the Hebrews is but one. Right? One love, one nation. Have you heard that before? Have you heard anyone say that before? One love, one nation. Let's go. That's the end of section 5 right there. We're just going to go ahead and read section 6 because it's so short. Section 6 says, he that blasphemes the Most High Yahweh, let him be stoned, and let him hang upon a tree all that day, and let him be buried in an ignominious and obscure manner. As that be done with him, man. That's the end of section 5 and 6. So we're going to continue on. Let's get some more of this. No blaspheming out there. Watch your mouth. Watch your tongue. It's not what goes inside of a man that defiles him. It's what comes out of a man or woman that defiles you. All right? You don't want the unforgivable sin, the blaspheme of the Ruach HaKodesh. No, that's unforgivable by the nation and by the Most High. Abba Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua. All right. All praises to the Most High. That's Section 7. Let those that live as remote as the bounds of the land which the Hebrews shall possess come to that city where the temple shall be, and this 3 times in a year, that they may give thanks to the Most High for his former benefits, and may entreat him for those days shall want hereafter. And let them by this means maintain a friendly relation with one another by such meetings and feasting together. For it is a good thing for those that are of the same stock and under the same institution of laws not to be unacquainted with one another, with each other, which acquaintance will be maintained by thus meeting together and by seeing and talking with one another, and so renewing the memorials of this union. For if they do not thus meet together continually, they will appear like mere strangers to one another. That's the end of section 7. Okay? And it's true. We need to be in fellowship with one another. That keeps us fresh like a family, not strangers. Okay? We're not like 83 Nation. Nah, man. Circle within the circle, man. 1/3, man. 144K, man. Let's go. All right, man. Section 8 and 9 together. Section 8 reads, let there be taken out of your fruits a tenth, besides that which you have allotted to give to the priests and Levites. This you may indeed sell in the country, but it is to be used in those feasts and sacrifices that are to be celebrated in the Kodesh city. For it is fit that you should enjoy those fruits of the earth which the Most High Yahweh gives you to possess, so as may be to the honor of the donor. That's the end of section 8. Section 9 reads, you are not to offer sacrifices out of the hire of a woman who is a harlot, for the deity is not pleased with anything that arises from such abuses of nature, of which sort none can be worse than this prostitution of the body. In like manner, no one may take the price paid to rent a... Oh, wow, what it says. Oh, man, I got to show you that. Okay, I'm going to read this and no one get offended. In like manner, no one may take the price paid to rent a bitch, either of one that is used in hunting or in keeping of sheep, and from their sacrifice to the Most High Yahweh. All right, you got to see this. I can't make this. I can't make this up. Right down here, section 9. You can freeze your screen. Look in section 9. Freeze your screen. Section 9. Okay. And I believe they're talking about a female dog, of course. Okay. And that's where we're going with that. All right. So I'm going to read that one more time, just so we're clear. In like manner, no one may take the price paid to rent a bitch, either of one that is used in hunting or in keeping of sheep. That's a dog. It's a sheepdog. And from there, sacrifice to the Most High. Talking about dogs. Okay. So pay attention. That's the end of 8 and 9. Let's get some more. Section 10 reads, let no one blaspheme those gods, which other cities esteem such, nor may anyone steal what belongs to strange temples, nor take away the gifts that are dedicated to any god. All right, that's the end of section 10. 11 reads, let not any one of you wear a garment made of woolen and linen, for that is appointed to be for the priest alone. All right, end of section 11. 12 reads, when the multitude are assembled together unto the Kodesh city for sacrificing every 7th year, at the Feast of Tabernacles, let the high priest stand upon a high platform, thus he may be heard, and let him read the laws to all the people, and let neither the women nor the children be hindered from hearing, no, nor the servants neither. For it is a good thing that those laws should be engraved in their souls and preserved in their memories, that so it may not be possible to blot them out. For by this means they will not be guilty of sin, when they cannot plead ignorance of what the laws have directed them. The laws also will have a greater authority among them, as foretelling what they will suffer if they break them, and imprinting in their souls by this hearing what they command them to do. That so there may always be within their minds the intention of the laws which they have despised and broken, and have thereby been the causes of their own mischief. Let the children also learn the laws as the first thing they are taught, which will be the best thing they can be taught, and will be the cause of their future good life. That's the end of section 12. All right, cool. Do you see a pattern going on here? Right? When Israelites are obedient to the will of the Most High, Abba Yahweh, don't you see how their lives are happy and stress-free and abundant with good things that he wants for us? Don't you think that he wants good things for his children? Punishment is not, that's not the first thing on the menu, man. That's not the go-to. You know what I'm saying? You act up, you gotta get jacked up, you know? You gotta be obedient in this walk. Let's read section 13. Let's continue. Let everyone commemorate before the Most High the benefits which he bestowed upon them at their deliverance out of the land of Mizraim, and this twice every day, both when the day begins and when the hour of sleep comes on. Gratitude being in its own nature a just thing, and serving not only by way of response for past, but also by way of invitation of future favors. They are also to inscribe the principal blessings they have received from the Most High upon their doors, and show the same remembrance of them upon their arms. As also they are to bear on their forehead and their arm those wonders which declare the power of the Most High Yahweh, and his goodwill towards them, that the Most High's readiness to bless them may appear everywhere, conspicuous about them. That's the end of section 13. All right. Section 14, and it reads, Let there be 7 men to judge in every city, and these such as have been before most zealous in the exercise of virtue and righteousness. Let every judge have 2 officers, allotted to him out of the tribe of Levi. Let those that are chosen to judge in the several cities be had in great honor, and let none be permitted to revile any others when these are present, nor to carry themselves in an insolent manner to them, and being natural, right, to reverence towards those in high offices among men, should procure men's fear and reverence towards the Most High Yahweh. Let those that judge be permitted to determine according as they think to be right, unless anyone can show that they have taken bribes, to the preservation of justice, and can allege any other accusation against them whereby it may appear that they have passed an unjust sentence. For it is not proper that causes should be openly determined out of the regard to gain, or to the dignity of the suitors, but that the judges should esteem what is right before all other things. Otherwise the Most High Yahweh will by that means be despised and esteemed inferior to those that dread of whose power has occasioned the unjust sentence. For justice is the power of the Most High Yahweh. Right? Interjecting. So if you can't have righteous men who are walking in the Ruach and making decisions according to what the Most High's will is, but doing it on their own accord, right? That's a wicked man, right? Got to get him out there. All right, let's continue. He therefore that gratifies those in great dignity supposes him more potent than Yahweh himself. But if these judges be unable to give a just sentence about the causes that come before them, which case is not infrequent in human affairs, let them send the cause undetermined to the Kodesh city, and there let the high priest, the prophet, and the Sanhedrin determine it as it shall seem good to them. That's the end of section 14. Now let's just go ahead and read section 15 while we're right here, right? And it reads, But let not a single witness be credited, but 3 or 2 at the least, and those such whose testimony is confirmed by their good lives. But let not the testimony of women be admitted, on account of the inconsistency and presumption of their sex. That's not my words. Nor let servants be admitted to give testimony on account of their ignobility of their soul, since it is probable that they may not speak truth, right? Because they don't have the Ruach HaKodesh. They don't have that, either out of hope of gain or fear of punishment. But if anyone be believed to have been born false witness, let him, when he is convicted, suffer all the very same punishments which he against whom he bore witness was to have suffered. That's the end of 15 there. All right. You heard that. It's not my words. All right, section 16. If a murder be committed in any place, and he that did it be not found, nor is there any suspicion upon one as if he had hated the man, and so had killed them, Let there be a very great diligent inquiry made after the man, and rewards proposed to anyone who will discover him. But if still no information can be gotten, let the magistrates and senate of those cities that lie near the place in which the murder was committed assemble together and measure the distance from the place where the dead body lies. Then let the magistrate of the nearest city thereto purchase a heifer, and bring it to the valley, and to the place therein, where there is no land plowed or trees planted, and let him cut the sinews of the heifer. Then the priests of the Levites and the senate of the city shall take water and wash their hands over the head of the heifer, and they shall openly declare that their hands are innocent of this murder, and that they have neither done it themselves, nor been assisting to any that did it. They shall also beg the Most High Yahweh to be merciful to them, that no such horrid act may any more be done in that land. That's the end of section 16. And 17 reads, aristocracy and the way of living under it is the best constitution, and may you never have any inclination to any other form of government, and may you always love that form, and have the laws for your governors, and govern all your actions according to them. But for you need no supreme governor but the Most High Yahweh. But if you shall desire a king, let him be one of your own nation. Let him be always careful for justice and other virtue always. So if you went out here and voted, and you're still voting, you're being disobedient to the Most High Yahweh. I'm just letting you know. Let's continue reading. Let him submit to the laws and esteem Yahweh's commands to be the highest wisdom, but let him do nothing without the high priest and the votes of the senators. Let him not have a great number of wives, nor pursue abundance of riches, nor a multitude of horses, whereby he may grow too proud and way too proud to submit to the laws. And if he does any such things, let him be restrained, in case he become so potent that his state be inconsistent with your welfare. All right? Then you start getting monarchies too high for their britches, start making weird laws. And we see 83. There's never been an instance in history where 83 has built a kingdom and it's been peaceful. Never. Not once. That's the end of 17. We're going to read 18 right now too. 18, and it reads, let it not be esteemed lawful to remove boundaries, neither our own, nor of those with whom we are at peace. Have a care you do not take those landmarks away, which are as it were a divine and unshaken limitation of rights made by the Most High Yahweh himself to last forever, since this going beyond limits and gaining ground upon others is the occasion of wars and rebellions. For those that remove boundaries are not far off in attempt to subvert the laws. Okay? So do you know anyone who's trying to go into other countries right now and do wickedness? All right, well, those people are the border of wickedness. You know who they are. Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. All right? And they're in full effect. That's the end of section 18. Section 19 and 20, probably. And it reads, he that plants a piece of land, the trees of which produce fruit before the 4th year, is not to bring from there any first fruits to the Most High, nor is he to make use of that fruit himself, for it is not produced in that proper season. For when nature has a force put upon her at the unseasonable time, the fruit is not proper for the Most High, nor for the master's use. But let the owner gather all that is grown on the 4th year, for then it is in the proper season. And let him that is gathered it carry it to the Kodesh city, and spend that together with the 10th of his other fruits, and feasting with his friends, with the orphans, and with the widows. Right? But on the 5th year, the fruit is his own, and he may use it as he pleases. That's the end of 19:20 reads, you are not to sow with seed a piece of land which is planted with vines, for it is enough that the supply nourishment to the plant, and be not overused by plowing also. You are to plow your land with oxen, and not to oblige other animals to come under the same yoke with them, but to till your land with those beasts that are of the same kind with each other. The seeds are also to be pure, and without mixture, and not to be compounded of 2 or 3 sorts, since nature does not rejoice in the union of things that are not in their own nature alike. Nor are you to permit beasts of different kinds to breed together. For there is reason to fear that this unnatural abuse may extend from beasts of different kinds to men, though it takes its first rise from the evil practices about such smaller things. Nor is anything to be allowed by imitation whereof any degree of subversion may creep into the constitution, nor do the laws neglect small matters, but provide that even those may be managed after an unblameable manner. That's the end of 20. All right. I hope you got something out of that. All right. A little stretch break real quick. We're about to get section 21, you know. All right. Hold up. Hold on. I like this one. This one smells pretty good. Whoops. There we go. Alright. Let's spark that up real quick. Hold on. There's no rush. I mean, it's going to take a while anyway. This is a long chapter. So, might as well just whatever. Alright. How's everyone doing, though? Hope you've been having a great week. You know, we're on the 4th day right now. Right? The 4th day. All praises to the Most High. Shout out for you for being in the truth, for walking in truth and righteousness. You know what I mean? All praises to the Most High. Let me get this prepared real quick. Just a little stretch break. We're going to go ahead and jump back into section 21. All right, let's continue. 21, and it reads, Let not those that reap and gather in the grain that is reaped together in the gleaning also, but let them rather leave some handfuls for those that are in want of the necessities of life, that it may be a support and a supply to them, in order to their subsistence. In like manner, when they gather their grapes, let them leave some smaller bunches for the poor, and let them pass over some of the fruits of the olive trees, when they gather them, and leave them to be partaken of those that have none of their own, for the advantage arising from the exact collection of all, and not be so considerable to the owners as will arise from the gratitude of the poor. And the Most High Yahweh will provide that the land shall more willingly produce what shall be for the nourishment of its fruits, in case you do not merely take care of your own advantage, but have regard to the support of others also. Nor are you to muzzle the mouths of any oxen when they tread the ears of grain in the threshing floor, for it is not just to restrain our fellow laboring animals and those that work in order to the production. So if you're in the threshing floor, if you all of a sudden got a bull that walks in there and just starts eating off the floor, you're not supposed to go whip that bull and push him out. Let him eat. That's what the Most High said. Let him eat. All right. And it continues to read, of this fruit of their labors, talking about the animals. Nor are you to prohibit those that pass by at that time when your fruits are ripe to touch them, but to give them leave to fill themselves full of what you have, and this whether they be of your own country or strangers, as being glad of the opportunity of giving them some part of your fruits when they are ripe. But let it be not esteemed lawful for them to carry any away. So they got to eat while they're here. You're not taking stuff and putting it in bundles. But if you sit here in my grove, you can eat all the peaches to your fill, until you sleep. Go pass out. All right? But you can't take any peaches back home. That's what it is. And it reads, Nor let those that gather the grapes and carry them into the winepress restrain those whom they meet from eating of them. Salake Yah, Salake. For it is unjust out of envy to hinder those that desire it, to partake of the good things that come into the world according to the Most High's will. And this while the season is at the height, and is hastening away as it pleases the Most High. Further, if some out of bashfulness are unwilling to touch these fruits, let them be encouraged to take of them. I mean those that are Israelites, as if they are themselves the owners and Adonais, the Adons. Salake add-ons on account of the family there, the lords, right? The family there is between them. Further, let them invite men that come from other countries to partake of these tokens of friendship which the Most High has given in their proper season, for that is not to be deemed as idly spent, which anyone out of kindness communicates to another, since the Most High bestows plenty of good things on men, not only for themselves to reap the advantage, but also to give to others in a way of generosity. And he is desirous by this means to make known to others his peculiar kindness to the people of Yasharala, and how freely he communicates happiness to them, while they abundantly communicate out of their great abundance to even those foreigners also. But for him that acts against to this law, let him be beaten with 40 stripes save one. By the public executioner, let him undergo this punishment, which is a most ignominious way for a free man. And this because he was such a slave to gain as to lay a blot upon his own dignity. For it is proper for you who have had the experience of the afflictions in Mizraim and of those in the wilderness to make provision of those that are in the like circumstances. And while you have now obtained plenty yourselves, through the mercy and providence of the Most High Yahweh, to distribute of the same plenty by the like sympathy to such as stand in need of it. That's the end of 21. All right, cool. You still with me? All right. Section 22, and it reads, besides those 2 tithes, which I have already said, you are to pay every year, the one for the Levites and the other for the festivals. You are to bring every 3rd year a 3rd tithe to be distributed to those that want, to women also that are widows, and to children that are orphans. But as to the ripe fruits, let them carry that which is ripe first of all into the temple. And when they have blessed the Most High Yahweh for that land which bore them, they which he had given them for a possession, when they have also offered those sacrifices which the law has commanded them to bring, let them give the first fruits to the priest. But when anyone has done this and has brought the tithe of all that he has together with those first fruits that are for the Levites and for the festivals, and when he is about to go home, let him stand before the Kodesh house and return thanks to the Most High Yahweh, that he has delivered them from the injurious treatment they had in Mizraim, and has given them a good land and a large, and let's enjoy them the fruits thereof. And when he has openly testified that he has fully paid the tithes and other dues according to the laws of Moshe, let him entreat the Most High that he will be ever merciful and gracious to him, and continue so to be to all the Hebrews, right, the Yahudim and all of Yasharala, both by preserving the good things which he has already given them, and by adding what it is still in his power to bestow upon them. And that's the end of section 22. Ain't that right, though? Hallelujah. Selah. All right, section 23. All right, let's try this again. Let the Hebrews marry at the age fit for it, virgins that are free and born of good parents. And he that does not marry a virgin, let him not corrupt another man's wife and marry her, nor grieve her former husband, nor let free men marry slaves, although their affection should strongly bias any of them so to do. For it is a decent for the dignity of the persons themselves to govern their affections. And further, no one ought to marry a harlot whose matrimonial offerings arising from the prostitution of her body the Most High will not receive. For by these means the disposition of the children will be liberal and virtuous. I mean, when they are not born of base parents and of the lustful intercourse of such as marry women that are not free. If anyone has been engaged to a woman as to a virgin, and does not afterward find her so to be, let him bring his action and accuse her, and let him make use of such indications, right, to prove his accusation, as he is furnished nonetheless. And let the father or the brother of the damsel, or someone that is after them nearest of kin to her, defend her. If the damsel obtain a sentence in her favor that she had not been guilty, let her live with her husband that accused her, and let him not have any further power at all to put her away, unless she give him very great occasions of suspicion, and such as can be no way contradicted. But for him that brings an accusation of slander against his wife in the impudent and rash manner, let him be punished by receiving 40 stripes save one. He's going to get whooped, man. You're going to whoop that naga. And let him pay 50 shekels to her father. But if the damsel be convicted as having been defiled as one of the common people, let her be stoned, because she did not preserve her virginity until she were lawfully married. But if she were the daughter of a priest, let her be burned alive. If anyone has two wives, and if he greatly respect and be kind to one of them, right, either out of his affection to her or her beauty, or for some other reason, while the other is of less esteem with him, and if the son of her that is bestowed be the younger by birth than another born of the other wife, but tries to obtain the right of primogeniture from the father, like trying to take over, the heirship, right? Everything that he's got, progeniting, right? Kindness to his mother, and would thereby obtain a double portion of his father's substance. For that double portion is what I have allotted him in the laws. Let not this be permitted. For it is unjust that he who is in the elder by birth should be deprived of what is due to him on the father's disposition of his estate, because of the mother was not equally regarded by him. He that has corrupted a damsel espoused to another man, in case he had her consent, let both of them, him and her, be put to death. For they are both equally guilty. The man, because he persuaded the woman willingly to submit to a most impure action, and to prefer it to lawful wedlock. The woman, because she was persuaded to yield herself to be corrupted, either for pleasure or for gain. Right? However, if a man light on a woman when she is alone, and forces her where nobody was present to come to her assistance, let him only be put to death. Let him that has corrupted a virgin not yet espoused marry her. But if the father of the damsel be not willing that she should be his wife, let him pay 50 shekels as a price to her defilement. He that desires to be divorced from his wife for any cause whatever, and many such causes happen among men, let him in writing give assurance that he will never use her as his wife any more. For by this means she may be at liberty to marry another husband, although before this bill of divorce be given, she is not to be permitted so to do. But if she be misused by him also, or if, when he is dead, her first husband would marry her again, it shall not be lawful for her to return to him. If a woman's husband die and leave her without children, let his brother marry her, and let him call the son that is born to him by his brother's name. The kinsman redeemer, remember that? Remember the kinsman redeemer? Let's continue. And prepare him to be the heir of his inheritance, for this procedure will be for the benefit of the public, because thereby families will not fail, right? Walking in people's lot. They got to come back in regeneration. And the estate will continue among the family, and this will be for the solace of wives under their grief. And they are to be married to the next relation of their former husbands. But if the brother will not marry her, let the woman come before the Senate and protest openly that this brother will not admit to her for his wife, but will injure the memory of his deceased brother, while she is willing to continue in the family and to bear him children. And when the Senate have inquired of him for what reason it is that he is averse to this marriage, whether he gives a good reason or a bad reason, the matter must come to this issue, that the woman shall loose the sandal of the brother, and shall spit in his face, and say that he deserves this reproachful treatment from her, as having injured the memory of the deceased brother. And then let him go away out of the Senate, and bear this reproach upon him all his life long. And let her marry whom she pleases of such as seek her in marriage. But now, if any man take captive either a virgin or one that has been married, and has to mind to marry her, let him not be allowed to bring her to bed to him, or to live with her as his wife before she has her head shaven, and has put on her mourning garment, and lamented her relatives and friends that were killed in the battle. that by this means she may give vent to her sorrow for them, and after that may allow herself to feasting and matrimony. For it is for good for him that takes a woman in order to have children by her, to be obliging to her inclinations, and not merely to pursue his own pleasure, while he has no regard to what is agreeable to her. But when 30 days are passed at that time of mourning, for so many are sufficient and decent persons for lamenting the dearest friends, then let him proceed to the marriage. But in case, when he has satisfied his lust, he be too proud to retain her for his wife, let him not have it in his power to make her a slave, but let her go away where she pleases, and have the privilege of a free woman. That's the end of section 23, all right? All right, Mishpachah. All praises to the Most High. Let's get section 24, and it reads, As to those young men that despise their parents and do not pay them honor, but offer them affronts, either because they are ashamed of them or think themselves wiser than they, in the first place let their parents admonish them in words, for they are by nature of authority, sufficient for becoming their judges. And let them say thus to them, that they cohabitate together, not for the sake of pleasure, nor for their augmentation of their riches, by joining both their stocks together, but that they might have children to take care of them in their old age, and might by them have what they then should want. And say further to him, that when you were born, we took you up with gladness, and gave the Most High Yahweh the greatest thanks for you, and brought you up with great care, and spared for nothing that appeared useful for your preservation, and for your instruction, and what was most excellent for you. And now, since it is reasonable to give the sins of those that are young, let it suffice you to have given so many indications of your contempt of us. Reform yourself and act more wisely for the time to come, considering that the Most High is displeased with those that are insolent towards their parents, because he is himself the father of the whole race of mankind, and seems to bear part of that dishonor which falls upon those that have the same name, when they do not meet with due returns from their children. And on such the law inflicts inexorable punishment, of which punishment may you never have the experience. So the parent's saying, I don't want you to get, jacked up, but if you keep running like this, the Most High is going to deal with you. All right, and it continues. Now, if the insolence of the young men be thus cured, let them escape the reproach which their former errors deserve. For by this means the lawgiver will appear to be good, and parents happy, while they never behold either a son or a daughter brought to punishment. But if it happen that these words and instructions conveyed by them in order to reclaim the man appears to be useless, then the offender renders the laws implicable enemies to the insolence he has offered his parents. Let him therefore be brought forth by these very parents out of the city with a multitude following him, and there let him be stoned. And when he has continued there for one whole day, that all the people may see him, let him be buried at the night. And thus it is that we bury all whom the laws condemn to die, upon any account whatever. Let our enemies that fall in battle be also buried, nor let any one dead body lie above the ground, or suffer a punishment beyond what justice requires. That's the end of section 24. And 25 reads, Let no one lend to any one of the Hebrews upon usury, neither usury of what is eaten or what is drunk. For it is not just to make advantage of the misfortunes of one of your own countrymen, but when you have been assistant to the necessities, think it your gain, if you obtain gratitude to you, and nonetheless that reward which will come to you from the Most High Yahweh for your humanity towards him. And that's the end of 25. All right, cool. Section 26, and it reads, Those who have borrowed either silver or any sorts of fruits, whether dry or wet, that is, when the Jewish borrowers, the Yahudi borrowers' affairs shall be restored by the blessings of the Most High Yahweh. Let the borrowers bring back what is borrowed and restore it with pleasure to those who lent it, laying it up, as it were, in their own treasuries, and justify expecting to receive it from there. If again, But if they be without shame and do not restore it, let not the lender go to the borrower's house and take a pledge himself before judgment be given concerning it. But let him require the pledge, and let the debtor bring it of himself without the least opposition to him that comes upon him under the protection of the law. And if he that gave the pledge be rich, let the creditor retain it until what he lent be paid him again. And if he be poor, let him that takes it return it before the going down of the sun, especially if the pledge be a garment, that the debtor may have it for a covering in his sleep. The Most High Yahweh himself naturally showing mercy to the poor, it is also not lawful to take a millstone, nor any implement of work for a pledge, that is, the debtor may not be deprived of instruments to get their food nonetheless, and so become impoverished by their necessity. That's the end of 26. 27 reads, let death be the punishment for stealing a man. But he that has stolen gold or silver, let him pay double. If anyone kill a man that is stealing something out of his own house, let him be esteemed guiltless, although the man were only breaking in at the wall. Let him that has stolen cattle pay fourfold for what is lost, excepting the case of the ox, for which let the thief pay fivefold. Let him that is so poor that he cannot pay what fine is laid upon him be his servant. Right? So you got to be a slave now, to whom he was adjudged to pay it. That's the end of 27. 28 reads, if anyone be sold to one of his own nation, let him serve him 6 years, and on the 7th year let him go free. But if he have a son by the woman servant in his purchaser's house, and if on account of his goodwill to his master and his natural affection to his wife and children, he will be a servant still, let him be set free only at the coming of the year of Jubilee, which is the 50th year. And let him then take away with him his children and wife, and let him then, and also all of them, be free also. Okay, that's the end of section 28. Okay, cool. 29, and it reads, if anyone find gold or silver on the road, let him inquire after him that lost it, and make known the place where he found it, and then restore it to him again, as not thinking it right to make his own profit by the loss of another. And the same rule is to be observed in cattle found to have wandered away into a lonely place. If the owner be not presently discovered, let him that is the finder keep it with himself, and appeal to the Most High Yahweh that he has not stolen what belongs to another. Let's read section 30, and it reads, it is not lawful to pass by any beast that is in distress when in a storm it is fallen down in the mire, but to try to preserve it, as having a sympathy with it and its pain. That's the end of 30. 31. It is also a duty to show the roads to those who do not know them, and not to think it a matter for sport when we hinder others' advantages by setting them in a wrong path. Don't send someone in the wrong direction on funny, trying to be funny. That's foolishness and that's wickedness, man. All right, let's read 32. In like manner, let no one revile a person blind or dumb. 33 reads, if men strive together and there be no instrument of iron, let him that is stricken be avenged immediately by inflicting the same punishment on him that struck him. But if when he is carried home he lies sick many days and then die, let him that struck him not escape punishment. But if he that is stricken escape death, and yet be at a great expense for the cure, the striker shall pay for all that has been expended during the time of his sickness, and for all that he has done to pay the physician. He that kicks a woman with a child, so that the woman miscarry, let him pay a fine in money, as the judges shall determine as having diminished the multitude by the destruction of what was in her womb. And let money also be given to the woman's husband by him that kicked her. But if she die of the stroke, let him also be put to death, the woman judging it equitable, that life should go for life. That's the end of 33. All right, 34. Let no one of the Israelites keep any poison that may cause death or any other harm, but if he be caught with it, let him be put to death, and suffer the very same mischief that he would have brought upon them for whom the poison was prepared. That's into 34. 35. He that maim anyone, let him undergo the like himself, and be deprived of the same member of which he has deprived the other, unless he that has maimed will accept of money instead of it. For the law makes the sufferer the judge of the value of what he has suffered, and permits him to estimate it, unless he will be more severe. All right? Unless it will be more severe, unless he wants to be more severe. All praises to the Most High. Section 36, and it reads, let him that is the owner of an ox which gores with his horn, we talked about him, kill him. But if he pushes and gores anyone in the threshing floor, let him be put to death by stoning, and let him not be thought fit for food. But if his owner be convicted as having known what his nature was, and has not penned him up, let him also be put to death, as being the occasion of the ox having killed a man. But if the ox has killed a manservant or a maidservant, let him be stoned, and let the owner of the ox pay 30 shekels to the master of him that was killed. But if it be an ox that is thus struck and killed, let both the oxen, that which struck the other and that which was killed, be sold, and let the owners of them divide their price between them. All right. 37, and it reads, let those that dig a well or a pit be careful to lay planks over them, and so keep them shut up, not in order to stop any persons from drawing water, but that there may be no danger of falling into them. But if anyone's beast fall into such a well or pit thus dug, and not shut up, and perish, let the owner pay its price to the owner of the beast. Let there be a battlement around the tops of your houses instead of a wall, that may prevent any persons from rolling down and perishing. Right? So put up a barrier, If you're going to dig a hole, put up a barrier so no one falls in and nothing falls in. That's the end of 37. Okay. Section 38. Let him that has received anything in trust for another take care to keep it as a sacred and divine thing. And let no one invent any means whereby to deprive him that has entrusted it with him of the same. And this, whether he be a man or a woman, no, not although he or she were to gain an immense sum of gold, and this were he cannot be convicted of it by anybody. For it is fit that a man's own conscience, which knows what he has, should in all cases oblige him to do well. Let this conscience be his witness, and make him also act so as may procure him commendation from others. But let him chiefly have regard to the Most High Yahweh, from whom no wicked man can lie concealed. There's no hiding from him, right? But if he in whom the trusted was reposed, without any deceit of his own, lose what he was entrusted nonetheless, let him come before the 7 judges and swear by the Most High that nothing has been lost willingly, or with a wicked intention, and that he has not made use of any part thereof, and so let him depart without blame. But if he has made use of the least part of what has committed to him, and it be lost, let him be condemned to repay all that he had received. After the same manner as in these trusts, it is to be, if anyone defraud those that undergo bodily labor for him, and let it be always remembered that we are not to defraud a poor man of his wages, as being sensible that the Most High has allotted these wages to him instead of the land and other possessions. This payment is not at all to be delayed, but to be made that very day, since the Most High is not willing to deprive the labor of the immediate, right, use of what he has labored for. Give it to him immediately. 39, and it reads, you are not to punish children for the faults of their parents, but on account of their own virtue rather share their sorrow, because they were born of wicked parents, than hatred because they were born of bad ones. Nor indeed ought we to impute the sin of children to their fathers, while young persons indulge themselves in many practices different from what they have been instructed in, and this by their proud refusal of such instruction. All right, 40, and it reads, let those that have made themselves eunuchs be detested, and avoid any conversation with them. who have deprived themselves of their manhood, and of that fruit of generation which the Most High has given to men for the increase of their kind. See that? Anyone who's not a man, you don't embrace, you know what I mean, getting a woman, trying to have a family, at least the goal of it, right? They are supposed to be detested. Right? It continues to read, the Most High Yahweh has given to men for their increase of their kind. Let such be driven away, as if they had killed their children, since they beforehand have lost what should produce them. For evident, if it is, that while their soul is become effeminate, they have nonetheless transfused that effeminacy to their body also. In like manner, do you treat all that is of monstrous nature, when it is looked on, nor is it lawful to geld men or any other animals. See, you're not supposed to be snipping off. You're not supposed to be neutering anything. If the Most High puts something on the body of an animal, you're supposed to leave it there. You don't neuter your dog. Leave it alone. Leave your dog alone. If your dog don't got nuts, you already messed up. All right? That's the end of that one. That's the end of 40. All right, 41. Let this be the constitution of your political laws in time of peace, and that the Most High will be so merciful as to preserve this excellent settlement free from disturbance, and may that time never come which may amend anything and may change it unfavorably. But since it must need happen that mankind fall into troubles and dangers, either undesignedly or intentionally, come, let us make a few constitutions concerning them, that so being apprised beforehand what ought to be done, you may have helpful advice ready when you want them, and may not then be obliged to go to seek what is to be done, and so be unprovided and fall into dangerous circumstances. May you be a hard-working people and exercise your souls in virtuous actions, and thereby possess and inherit the land without wars, while neither any foreigners make war upon it, and so afflict you, nor any internal rebellion seize upon it, whereby you may do things that are against your fathers, and so lose the laws which they have established. And may you continue in the observation of those laws which the Most High Yahweh has approved of and has delivered to you. Let all sort of warlike operations, whether they befall you now or in your own time or hereafter in the times of your posterity, be done out of your own borders. But when you are about to go to war, send ambassadors and heralds to those who are your voluntary enemies, for it is a right thing to make use of words to them before you come to your weapons of war, right? Be diplomatic, but if you gotta fight, man, beat them down, and assure them thereby, that although you have a numerous army with horses and weapons, and above these, an Elohia, merciful to you, and ready to assist you, you do, however, desire them not to compel you to fight against them, nor to take them from them that they have, which will indeed be our gain. But what they will have no reason to wish we should take ourselves. And if they hearken to you, it will be proper for you to keep peace with them. But if they trust in their own strength as superior to yours, and will not do you justice, lead your army against them, making use of the Most High as your supreme commander, but ordaining for a lieutenant under him, one that is of the greatest courage among you. For these human commanders, besides their being of obstacle to actions that are to be done suddenly, are a disadvantage to those that make use of them. Lead an army pure and of chosen men, composed of all such as have extraordinary strength of body and hardiness of soul, but send away the fearful part, lest they run away in the time of action, and so afford an advantage to your enemies. Do you also give leave to those that have lately built them houses, and have not yet lived in them a year's time, and to those that have planted them vineyards, and have not yet been partakers of the fruits, to continue in their own country, as well as those also who have betrothed or lately married wives, lest they have such an affection for these things, that they be too sparing of their lives, and by reserving themselves for these enjoyments, they become voluntary cowards on account of their wives. That's the end of section 42. When you have pitched your camp, take care that you do nothing that is cruel. And when you are engaged in a siege and want timber for the making of warlike engines, do not you render the land naked by cutting down all the trees that bear fruit, but spare them, as considering that they were made for the benefit of men, and that if they could speak, they would have a just plea against you, because though they are not occasions of the war, they are unjustly treated and suffer in it, and would, if they were able, remove themselves into another land. Talking about the trees, he's talking about the plants. When you have beaten your enemies in battle, slay those that have fought against you, but preserve the others alive, that they may pay you tribute, excepting the nation of the Canaanites. For as to that people, you must entirely destroy them, utterly kill them. 43 says, take care especially in your battles that no woman use the clothing of a man, nor a man the garment of a woman. That's the end of 43. All right, cool. All right, 44, and it reads, this was the form of political government which was left us by Moshe. Moreover, he had already delivered laws in writing. In the 14th year after they came out of Mizraim, concerning which we will discourse in another book. But now on the following days, for he called them to assemble continually, he delivered blessings to them and curses upon those that should not live according to the laws, but should transgress the duties that were determined for them to observe. After this, he read to them the poetic song, which was composed in hexameter verse, and left it to them in the Kodesh book. It contained a prediction of what was to come, to the passing afterward, and to the end agreement. All things have happened all along, and do still happen to us, and wherein he has not at all deviated from the truth. Accordingly, he delivered these books to the priest with the ark, into which he also put the 10 Commandments, written on 2 tables. He delivered to them the tabernacle also, and exhorted the people that when he had conquered the land and were settled in it, they should not forget the injuries of the Amalekites, but make war against them and inflict punishment upon them for what mischief they did them when they were in the wilderness. And that when they had got possession of the land of the Canaanites, and when they had destroyed the whole multitude of its inhabitants, as they ought to do, they should erect an altar that should face the rising sun, not far from the city of Shechem, between the 2 mountains of Gerizim, situated on the right hand, and that called Ebal on the left. And that the army should be so divided that 6 tribes should stand upon each of the 2 mountains, and with them the Levites and the priests. And that first those that were upon Mount Gerizim should pray for the best blessings upon those who were diligent about the worship of the Most High Yahweh, and the observation of his laws, and who did not reject what Moshe had said to them, while the other wished them all manner of happiness also. And when these last put up the like prayers, the former praised them. After this, curses were pronounced upon those that should transgress those laws, and answering one another alternately by way of confirmation of what had been said, Moshe also wrote their blessings and their curses, that they might learn them so thoroughly, right, the Torah, that they might never be forgotten by length of time. And when he was ready to die, he wrote these blessings and curses upon the altar on each side of it, where he says also the people stood and then sacrificed and offered burnt offerings, though after that day they never offered upon it any other sacrifice, for it was not lawful so to do. These are the constitutions of Moshe, and the Hebrew nation still lives according to them. That's the end of 44. All praises to the Most High. Selah. We have 49 sections, so bear with me, y'all. We're getting there, all right? All right, 45. On the next day, Moshe called the people together, with the women and children to the congregation, to a congregation, so as the very slaves were present also, and they might engage themselves to the observation of these laws by oath, and that duly considering the meaning of the Most High in them, they might not either for favor of the family, or out of fear of anyone, or indeed for any motive whatever, think anything ought to be preferred to these laws, and so might transgress them, that in case anyone of their own blood or any city should attempt to confound or dissolve their constitution of government, they should take vengeance upon them. both all in general and each person in particular. And when they had conquered them, should overturn their city to the very foundations, and if possible should not leave the least footsteps of such madness, but that if they were not able to take such vengeance, they should still demonstrate that what is done was against their wills. So the multitude bound themselves by oath so to do. All right. 46, and it reads, Moshe taught them also by what means their sacrifices might be the most acceptable to the Most High Yahweh, and how they should go forth to war, making use of the stones in the high priest breastplate, right, the ephod, for their direction. As I have before signified, Joshua also prophesied while Moshe was present, and when Moshe had recapitulated whatever he had done for the preservation of the people, both in their wars and in peace, and had composed them a body of laws and procured them an excellent form of government, he foretold, as Yahweh the Most High had declared to him, that if they transgressed that institution for the worship of the Most High, they should experience the following miseries. Their land should be full of weapons of war from their enemies, and their cities should be overthrown, and their temples should be burned, and they should be sold for slaves to such men as would have no pity on them in their afflictions, that they would then repent, when the repentance would no way profit them under their sufferings. Yet said he, well, that the Most High Yahweh, who founded your nation, restore your cities to your citizens, with their temple also, and you shall lose these advantages, not once only, but often. That's the end of 46. 47 reads, Now when Moshe had encouraged Joshua to lead out the army against the Canaanites by telling him that the Most High Yahweh would assist him in all his undertakings, and had blessed the whole multitude, he said, Since I am going to my forefathers, and Yahweh has determined that this should be the day of my departure to them, I return him thanks while I am still alive and present with you. For that providence he has exercised over you, which he had not only delivered us from the miseries we lay under, but has bestowed a state of prosperity upon us, as also that he has assisted me in the pains I took, and in all the contrivances I had in my care about you, in order to better your condition, and as on all occasions showed himself favorable to us. Or rather, it was who first conducted our affairs and brought them to a happy conclusion, by making use of me as a vicarious general under him, and as a minister in those matters wherein he was willing to do you good. On which account I think it proper to bless that divine power, Yahweh, which will take care of you for the time to come, and this in order to repay that debt which I owe him, and to leave behind me a memorial that we are obliged to worship and honor him, and to keep those laws which are the most excellent gift of all those he had already bestowed upon us, or which, if he had continued favorable to us, he will bestow upon us hereafter. Certainly, a human lawgiver is a terrible enemy when his laws are affronted and are made to no purpose. And may you never experience that displeasure of the Most High Yahweh, which will be the consequences of the neglect of these laws, of his laws, which he, who is your creator, has given you. That's the end of section 47. 48. When Moshe had spoken thus at the end of his life, and had foretold what would befall to every one of their tribes afterward, with an addition of a blessing to them, the multitude fell into tears, insomuch that every other woman, by beating their breasts, showed the deep concern they had when he was about to die. The children also lamented still more, as not able to contain their grief, and thereby declared that even at their age they were sensible of his virtue and mighty deeds. And truly, there seemed to be a strife between the young and old, who should most grieve for him. The old grieved because they knew what a careful protector they were to be deprived of, and so lamented their future state. But the young grieved not only for that, but also because it had so happened that they were to be left by him before they had well tasted of his virtue. Now, one may make a guess at the excess of this sorrow and lamentation of the multitude, but what happened to the lawgiver himself, for although he was always persuaded that he ought not to be cast down to the approach of death, since the undergoing it was agreeable to the will of the Most High, and the law of nature, yet was the people did so overbore him that he wept himself. So Moshe started crying. He broke down with the people. He cried with his people. Now, as he went from there to the place where he was to vanish out of their sight, they all followed after him weeping. But Moshe beckoned with his hand to those who were farther from him and directed them to stay behind and quiet, while he exhorted those that were near to him, and they would not render his departure so lamentable. Whereupon they thought they ought to grant him that favor, to let him depart according as he himself desired. So they restrained themselves, though weeping still towards one another. All those who accompanied him were the same, and Eleazar the high priest and Joshua their commander. Now, as soon as they were come to the mountain called Abarim, which is a very high mountain situated near to Jericho, and one that affords to such as are upon it a view of the greatest part of the excellent land of Canaan, he dismissed the Senate. And as he was going to embrace Eleazar and Joshua, and was still discoursing with them, a cloud stood over him suddenly, and he disappeared in a certain valley. Although he wrote in the Kodesh books that he died, which was done out of fear, lest they should venture to say that because of his extraordinary virtue he went to the Most High Yahweh. That's the end of 48. And we got one more section to read, and then we have a lot of notes to cover. But we're going to read one more section to finish up chapter 8. All right, it's going to be section 49. Let's continue. Section 49. And it reads, Now Moshe lived in all 120 years, a third part of which time, less 1 month, he was the people's ruler. And he died on the last month of the year, which is called by the Macedonians Distress, but by us Adar, on the first day of the month. He was one that exceeded all men that ever were an understanding, and made the best use of what that understanding suggested to him. Right, he came because he was before, Solomon. He had a very graceful way of speaking and addressing himself to the multitude, and as to the other qualifications, he had such a full command of his passions, as if he hardly had any such in his soul, and only knew them by their names, as rather perceiving them in other men than in himself. He was also such a general of an army as in seldom seen, as well as such a prophet as was never known, and this to such a degree that whatever he pronounced, you would think you heard it from the voice of the Most High Yahweh himself. So the people mourned for him 30 days, nor did ever any grief so deeply affect the Hebrews as did this upon their death of Moshe. Nor were those that had experienced his conduct the only persons that admired him, but those also that perused the laws he left behind him had a strong admiration for him, and by them gathered the extraordinary virtue he was master of. And this shall suffice for the declaration of the manner of the death of Moshe. That's the end of section 49. That's the end of chapter 8. And that's the end of book number 4. Now, we're going to read some of these notes. And if they start getting really wild, then I'm going to cut it off. But, we're going to read the notes and close up book 4. And then we're going to start back on the next one. All right. So let's see what these notes are talking about. All praises to the Most High. Shalom, man. I love y'all, man. Let's get some of this, man. Thanks for being here. And if you stick around, if you've already been this long, yeah, I already know what kind of personality you got. I love you. Yep. Book 4, chapter 8, notes. Point number 1, and it reads, Josephus here in this one sentence sums up his notion of Moshe's very long and very serious exhortations in the book of Deuteronomy, and his words are so true and of such importance that they deserve to be had and constant remembrance. Point number 2, this law, both here and in Exodus 20, 25 through 26, of not going up to the Most High's altar by ladder steps, but on a ramp, seems not to have belonged to the altar of the tabernacle, which was in all but 3 cubits high, reference Exodus 27 and 4, nor that of Ezekiel, which was expressly to be gone up to by steps, Ezekiel 43 and 17, but rather to occasional altars of the considerable altitude and size, as also probably to Solomon's altar, to which it is here applied by Josephus, as well as to the Zerubbabel and Herod's temple, which were, I think, all 10 cubits high. See 2 Chronicles 4 and 1 and Antiquities, book number 837. The reason why these temples and these only were to have this ascent on a slope and not by steps is obvious, that before the invention of stairs, such as we now use, decency could not be otherwise provided for in the loose garments which the priests wore, as the law required. See Lamb v. version of the Tabernacle and Temple, page 444. That's the end of point number 2. Point 3 says, the hire of public or secret harlots was given to Venus and Syria, as Lucian informs us, pages 878, and against some such vile practice of the old idolaters. This law seems to have been made. Okay? Point number 4. The Apostolical Constitutions, book number 2, chapter 26, section 31, expound this laws of Moshe, reference Exodus 22 and 28. You shall not revile or blaspheme the gods of magistrate, which is a much more probable exposition than this of Josephus of heathen gods, as here, and against Apion, book 2, 34. What book of the law was thus publicly read? See the note on Antiquities 10, 5 and 5, and 1 Esdras 9, 8 through 55. That's the end of point number 4. Okay. Point number 5. Whether these phylacteries and other Jewish memorials of the law here were mentioned by Josephus and by Moshe, besides the fringes on the borders of their garments, reference Numbers 15 and 37, were literally meant by the Most High Yahweh, I must question, that they have been long observed by the Pharisees and the rabbinical Jews, the Yahudim, is certain. However, the Karaites, who receive not the unwritten traditions of the elders, but keep close to the written law with Jerome and Grotius, think they were not literally to be understood, as Bernard and Reland here take notice. Nor indeed do I remember that either in the more ancient books of the Old Testament or in the books we call the Apocrypha, there are any signs of such literal observations appearing among the Yahudim, though their real or mystical significance, i.e. the constant remembrance and observation of the laws of Yahweh by Moshe, is frequently taught in all that sacred writings. Okay, now just eat the meat and spit out the bones, man. You know what I mean? Because a lot of this stuff is written by, 83. All right, eat the meat, spit out the bones. That's why sometimes I don't like reading the notes, but I want to give y'all everything that's available here and let you pick it out. But there's some things already I'm not happy with. All right, point number 6. Here as well as elsewhere, section 38, life, section 14 in Jewish War 2, 25, but 7 judges appointed for small cities instead of 23 in the modern rabbis, which modern rabbis are always but of very little authority in comparison to Josephus. Point number 7. I have never observed elsewhere that in the Jewish government, women were not admitted as legal witnesses in courts of justice. None of our copies of the Pentateuch say a word of it. It is very probable, however, that this was the exposition of the scribes and Pharisees and the practice of the Jews, the Yahudim, in the days of Josephus. Now you got to remember, some of the authors of this book, they're 83, and they didn't know, and if they did know, they were still suppressing who the real Yahudim were, right? Point number 8. This penalty of the 40 stripes, save one, here mentioned and section 23 was 5 times inflicted on St. Paul himself by the Yahudim, reference 2 Corinthians 11 and 24. Josephus' plain and express interpretation of this law of Moshe, Deuteronomy 14:28-29, and also 26:12, etc., that the Yahudim were bound every third year to pay 3 tithes, that to the Levites, that for the sacrifices at Jerusalem, and this for the indigent and widow and the orphans, is fully confirmed by the practice of good old Tobit. Tobit, the Apocrypha, read, even when he was a captive in Assyria, against the opinions of the rabbis. Reference Tobit 1:6-8. All right. And then point number 10, these tokens of virginity, as the Hebrew and Septuagint style them, reference Deuteronomy 22:15, seem to me very different from what our later interpreters suppose. They appear rather to have been such close linen garments as were never put off virgins after a certain age until they were married, but before witnesses in which while they were entire, were certain evidences of such virginity. See these Antiquities, Book 7, 8:1. And reference 2 Samuel 13:18. Also reference Isaiah 6:1. Josephus here determines nothing what were these particular tokens of virginity or of defilement. Perhaps he thought he could not easily describe them to the heathens without saying what they might have thought a breach of modesty, which seeming breach of modesty laws cannot always wholly avoid. All right, okay, point number 11. These words of Josephus are very like those of the Pharisees to our Savior, right, our Mashiach, upon this very subject. Reference Matthew 19:3. Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for any cause? Right? There's reference to that. Right? That's the end of point number 11. Point number 12. Here, it is supposed that this captive's husband, if she were before a married woman, was dead before, or rather was killed in this very battle. Otherwise, it would have been adultery in him that married her. Point 13. See Herod the Great insisting on the execution of this law with relation to 2 of his own sons before the judges at Bertus. Antiquities, that's Antiquities 16:11 and 2. All right, that's the end of point number 13. All right, Mishpachah, family and friends, man, we're going to go ahead and close that up right there. That's the end of book number 4, the Antiquities of the Yahudim, book 4, right? We're going to throw this one up on the board at the end of the video. Thank you for being here with me. The next read that we start, we're going to jump right into book number 5, containing the interval of 476 years from the death of Moshe to the death of Eli. And we're going to start there. But thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. We're going to finish up this finale here. And we're going to get ready for a nice live stream tonight with other Mishpachah, Akim, and Akatim, right? Fellowshipping with one another, man. All praises and love, right? Love and understanding for one another. That's right. So thank you for being here. As always, all praise to the Most High. You know, on the road trip, I just ask you, I beseech that you be safe out there as you travel to and fro up and down the roads, right? Right? Especially if you got those little kiddies in the car with you. That's right, man. Shalom. Peace and blessings to your home, your dwelling places where you live, right? Your friends, your loved ones, your children, and your pets, man. Them fur babies. And until we read again, until we speak again, you know the drill, man. All praises to the Most High. I love you all, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Most High willing. Yeah. Love you, man. Peace.